take me with you. I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and grow.
Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
And I know.
There we go. Well, let me just say welcome to everybody for our Jumpstart this month. And thank you, Jen, for working again through all of this great information and being willing to share with us. We're really grateful for it. It's going to be awesome. I, for one, brought a little left-sided headache with me this morning. So I'm ready to see what happens. So thank you.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, so obviously we're talking about pain today. Got pain? We all do. We all have some type of pain. Now today we're gonna focus mostly on what is the physical pain, the physical discomfort. But we also know that there's always an element of emotion or that part of us involved in our pain. So keep that in mind. But some of these techniques that I'm going to teach you today, you can apply them to an emotional pain or a mental pain, whatever you want to call that. But today I'm going to strictly be focusing on how this affects our physical body. Okay. So as I lead you through some of these techniques, let's just focus on physical pain. But remember, you can apply these techniques to your emotional and mental pain. Okay, so your brain on pain. Let's talk about your brain on pain.
I'm all in. Let's talk about that.
Because it's some people don't understand that your pain can be addictive. And that you can actually do some things to help your brain not feel as much pain. So we're going to learn, first of all, about how the body and the brain work and process pain, like the actual sensations, okay? So the sensation of pain, there's two pathways, an ascending pathway and a descending pathway. So all along your spine, you have these neurons, and I've noticed this, I can't say the word, but just anyway, you have all these little nerves. And they go from your spine out into every part of your body, okay? And what their job is to pick up the sensation of your environment. And so they'll pick up, let's say if you stub your toe or you step on something sharp, that area is picking up that sensation of sharpness, that sensation of hitting. Or if you set your hand on a stove, it's picking up the sensation of the hotness. But it's just picking up the sensation. It ascends up to the brain through that network up to the brain, and the brain interprets it and says, "Oh, ouch! Oh, hot!" or intense pain or whatever, and it interprets what that sensation is. And then what it does is it says, "Okay, what can I do for it?" Now, this is all done on that unconscious autonomic level, so you don't have to think about it. So what the brain is actually saying, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to just rush some blood to the area? Do I need to rush some, whatever, like all your little like white blood cells, because there might be an invader, an infection coming in? Or do I need to send actually some of the chemicals in our brain that helps us to soothe the pain? And so your brain's working and it descends all that information, all the chemicals, everything down into the area, out through that nervous system, those things along your spine. That's the pathway of pain. Okay. So that's how rudimentary. I mean, like that's really kind of very taking it really down how it works. So what does that mean? What does that mean for us?
Can I just ask a question? And we might be getting to this later in the thing, but this just occurred to me as you're talking about, we have the sensation of stepping on something. It ascends up to our brain.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets into our brain, could there be something that says, oh, this is just like when so-and-so did this to me?
Oh, yes. And we're coming to that.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, and then when it descends, it descends in a whole different way. Because that's like clean pain and dirty pain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just
this is fascinating.
This is actually just the body. This is how the body works. Okay.
And physical.
And the physical part of the brain, not that like the other part of the unconscious that puts value and meaning to our pain and story to our pain. This is just the way that it works in the body. But we have to kind of understand that to understand the next step, which is that Beth is talking about. So can you go ahead and read this for us?
Yeah, there is no single pain center in the brain. Instead, multiple regions are activated in response to painful stimuli, including networks that also are involved in emotion, cognition, memory, and decision-making.
So let's talk about that.
Well, answers my question. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So those networks, you create a story, you create a meaning, you create something behind the pain that you are experiencing. So I'll give a little experience of mine. Going barefoot in my backyard, we have clover. And a month ago, I have these big rocks that are the steps that come out of my sliding glass door onto my patio. And I just bounced off of them and landed in the grass. And all of a sudden, on the bottom of my toe, I just felt this intense pain. So that was what came up, and my brain said pain, intense pain. So this is what happened. So the emotion, cognition, memory, and decision-making part of my brain just went, okay. And this is what I said to myself, because I am dealing with osteoporosis. Oh, great. I just broke my foot.
Oh, yeah, because that was what's in your thoughts.
Yes. I must have stepped on a rock wrong. And now I just destroyed one of my bones in my foot. I'm going to have to go have surgery. I'm going to be in a boot. I'm going to be on crutches. I'm going to be limping. Life is over, basically.
Yes, under a bridge, Jen.
Under a bridge, totally under a bridge.
I'm going to die under a bridge.
And so what came also with like the memory part of it, when I had been on crutches before and all the pain and discomfort that came with my back and all that, and it took like
it connected with the memory as well.
Exactly. And so there's all that. And I was like, okay, but then also what came into was this wanting to not attach to what the problem might be. So I just started to like, okay, if I just shake it off, it won't be there.
Right.
So that's kind of a decision making. So I was like, I just continued on my day doing my gardening. And I'm like, I was not going to investigate it. I was not going to look at it, because if I ignore it, it'll go away. But it didn't. It throbbed and it throbbed and it throbbed and it started to puff up and everything. And by the time I was done and took a shower and everything and finally investigated it, I found this little teeny red dot. And I was like, I stepped on a bee. So now the story changed. Okay. So all of that before, all of that kind of that like stuff that made my story of my pain be this like big bad thing, is now just like, I stepped on a bee. And now I had to go, like change what I was to do to my foot to make it better.
Yeah, but you knew what to do with the bee sting.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, and so it was just like, this is a different experience. So that's kind of how like the pain can work in the brain because of what you're telling yourself about the pain. Okay. So let's read another quote. Penny, will you read that for us?
Fear, anxiety, sadness can make pain feel worse. Sadness can physiologically dial up the pain.
Yep.
Have you ever felt this? Have you ever experienced this?
Yep. Anytime when you're home by yourself, feeling sorry for yourself, versus when you're out with friends and they love you. Huge difference in your pain levels.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So in the articles I've been reading and studying and everything, first of all, if you ever want to really learn some interesting thing about pain, the National Geographic pain, this is a really cool one. It's actually in January 2020. And so there's actually been, even within just the 3 years, a lot of more information coming out. But this is very science loaded. So some of these quotes came from this article and some of the stuff I'm going to talk about. So another thing is, so think about, he gives an example of discussing pain with a woman who has like intense, searing, chronic pain. And he's like, just imagine that you're sitting in a room and with your pain, feeling your pain, how you're feeling it. And they let a tiger into the room. Where did your pain go? Because it's not there anymore. Because what's now your one priority? How do I get out of this? There's a tiger.
Staying alive. Your adrenal surge just covered everything up.
Yeah, but it's showing you that on some level, pain can be a choice.
Yes.
So fear, anxiety, and sadness can make that pain feel worse, and it can dial up the pain. So we kind of have a choice with pain. So I thought that was a very interesting little thing. Another thing in the article, it talks about the how we can become hypersensitive in our physical body in the area that maybe our injury or our pain is located. To the point, they studied it with lab rats that they kept poking or having pain in the one area of the body where they stopped poking it and would actually just touch or go near it, and the pain would surge and be actually worse than the actual pain. It's like that anticipatory, that expectation of what it's going to be. So there's that aspect of this. And so I believe that's our next slide if somebody wants to read that.
Yeah, I'll read it for you. There are many different aspects to pain. Pain is rarely just the sensation of being felt. The bigger part of the picture is the meaning being made of it. Pain is subjective. It involves your past experience of pain, your future expectation of pain, and what the actual meaning of the pain is.
Okay. So
it blows my mind that so much of it is in our head.
It is in our head. Now
that we have so much more control over it than we think.
We do. Now, for somebody that is in pain, and this is new information, they can get pretty mad about this because their experience is their experience. I believe a lot of times what this is saying is that we can, by involving the brain in certain techniques, we can change the intensity of the pain. We can change the story of the pain so that the pain is not as in your face, as intense, and so it can be more managed instead of us having to go to certain narcotics to escape it.
Right.
Okay. So not to say that there isn't a reason that you have your pain. There's just like, we can change the story of the pain so that maybe it's more manageable.
Jennifer, can I ask a quick question here?
Yeah.
So do you do pre-work for people? Or is there a sign like, okay, so you're pre-work as far as like, because you're talking about past, how it can make that difference for you, like how you're cognitive, right? Like your past experience. Do you find that you do pre-work for people, or do you really just, once they're in the pain, you deal with it at that point, then go back?
You can do both.
Yeah, because it's all about.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Beth.
It's all about where your head is before you go in. Mm-hmm. If you have lots of pain in your past and you've kind of made a habit in your mind about when this happens, I know what comes next. That subjective pain is going to be very different from if this is a brand new experience and you're trusting and expecting it to go well.
Yeah.
I think most people don't. Who would it even flag it until you're in the pain? I would assume that you're going, pain's the motivator, right? I think, anyway, I just was like, have you seen someone do that work? I just was fascinated by this.
Yeah.
It's what we do all the time with coaching.
Yeah. So let's give some scenarios. Okay. So so big fear of needles here. So what is that? That's a story in my head of pain that I'm going to experience when I either go to the doctor or I go to the dentist.
Yeah.
So we can work on that. We can change that fear, dial it down, give it a different story. Not that you're not going to experience pain, but it's all that expecting, and that's it's anticipatory. And I've done that work. And in fact, I can remember like a few years ago when I told Beth, I was like, Beth, I couldn't believe I did all this like emotional work while the dentist was drilling in my head.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to tell this story. Tell them what happened, to play the story out, because it's an exceptional example.
Well, and also bring to points that you remember, because I may not remember what you were impressed with, but so I had done a lot of like breath work and some of the techniques, not the exact technique, because I didn't know these techniques then, that I'm going to teach you today, to change the story of what the needle was for me. And a lot of it was just where did I get this like fear of needles from, and exploring that and everything. And it was actually connected to some of my wounded parts of self or like inner child and things like that. And so as I'm in full blown panic mode, after he has given me the shot, I mean, I helped breathe myself through the being able and realizing that, if I didn't lean into that pain, the shot would have been much worse. It was my first time understanding that, because I was doing the mindfulness through Kristen Neff and is it Germer?
Yeah, Christopher Germer,
where the equation, which I love, is pain plus suffering. I mean, pain plus resistance just equals suffering, more suffering. And so I was trying to apply that and lean into like this needle coming at me. I'm going to accept it. It's going to be fine, and breathing, don't hold your breath and everything. And I was like, oh yeah, it really isn't as bad. But it made all of this come to the surface about the fear behind what was just happening to me. So as he was drilling in my head, I was actually doing inner work with all these like children parts that were just scared and just like up in arms because they had a needle. And so, I was able to do some of that work within myself because I know how to do that, because I've been trained. Not that you don't know how to, you can still do it if you have certain tools.
And we've studied parts work in coach training so far. So you've got a beginning on that.
Yeah. So Beth, is that what you remember?
Yes. What I remember is when you called me after your appointment, your excitement of your comment to me was, who knew that going to the dentist would bring out so many inner child parts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just the feeling of being centered in yourself and being able to work with those parts, and what a dramatic difference that made in your comfort level. Mm-hmm. Because you were then parenting and loving and consoling and listening instead of being all up in arms as a child.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was able to like listen to their story, because I was like, oh my gosh, I really was in, and let them know that, yeah, it was painful, but look at what we just did. It wasn't as painful. And they're like, no, it was horrible. And I was like, no, let's just really think about this. And then, but let them say their piece. And then, yeah. So it has changed. Now, I will say that there's still a little bit of that feeling when I think
we're not perfected yet. We're okay.
Having to go like get a shot or anything like that, but I know how to work with it now. So really a lot of it is my expectation of what I'm going to experience because of my past experiences. And that's what this is. But let's also have another example of pain, like to help understand the expectation of it. So like, and I hope this is helping you understand. So when we have the pain of a bone being mended, we have an expectation, an outcome. We know that this pain is bringing about healing and the bone is going to get better. So we have a different view of the pain. We can handle it differently, right? Let's take a cancer patient. A lot of times after like a cancer patient is in remission or whatever, pain means that the cancer may be coming back. So they have a different expectation. They have a different outcome. So sometimes you have to also just kind of look at what type of pain am I experiencing?
Well, and what's the story?
What's the story?
This particular phrase in the center, the bigger part of the picture is the meaning being
Mhm.
made. It reminded me immediately of Viktor Frankl's quote, suffering ceases to be suffering when we understand the meaning behind it. And so with your parts work in the dental chair, the meaning was personal growth.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that really shifted things for you in the amount of discomfort that you feel. Or somebody who's having a baby, the meaning is this is going to have a really cool outcome. This is
Yeah.
going to be, yeah.
So why do women go through it over and over again? Because of the joy and the outcome that's
the outcome,
that amazing
yeah.
experience. Yeah.
But like you said, the cancer patient who is worried about remission, that's going to really intensify whatever they feel with the worry and the storytelling.
To the storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's kind of an element, there's a one single element behind all of these stories or things that we with pain and discomfort, that if we can shift that element, if we can get to that element, change that element, it can change our experience of pain. And that basically is fear. It's the fear. So we're going to work on that with some of the techniques that I'm going to teach you. Now, I'm going to lead you through them, and you can do these on your own once you learn them. So these are techniques that you can take from this and apply to them, and maybe revisit the oh my gosh, the Jumpstart if you need it, the recording. So let's see. I'm going to turn on a little bit of light. All of a sudden we're getting very cloudy and my light is going. So hold on, let me turn on some light so I don't all of a sudden disappear into darkness. Hopefully that doesn't mean that we're going to be getting a big storm. I
hope not. We want to keep you with us.
No, I didn't check the weather. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to do a really fun little experiment, so to speak, to help you understand your mind. Okay, so where the mind goes, the body will follow. Okay, and I want you to look at this picture, and it's like twisting, right?
I love it.
Okay, so everybody has to stand up for this. No sitting down. I'm going to do it first. Everybody stand up. I'm going to do it first, and then you're going to do it. So don't do it with me right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift your arm up in front of you, keeping your feet planted. So make sure it's like shoulder width apart. You're going to bring your arm up in front of you, and you're going to twist to your right, or whatever arm is up. Follow your body following, your feet standing. And you're going to point to your back of your wall, and I want you to mentally mark where you're pointing, okay? And then come back. So what you want to do is make sure that you keep your feet centered, and you're just going to twist from the waist. And if you're lifting your right arm, you're going to twist to the right. If you're lifting your left arm, you're going to twist to the left, okay? So you're going to twist in the direction of your arm. So go ahead, everybody lift your arm up, and then twist in the direction of the arm, keeping your feet centered or solid. And twist as far back as you can go, but then mentally mark on the wall where you're twisting. And then come forward. Okay, so now all I want you to do is stand here and close your eyes, okay? You're not going to do anything but just in your mind what I'm saying. So you're going to imagine yourself standing here, feet nice and solid, not moving. And you're going to imagine lifting that arm up in front of you. And you're going to imagine yourself twisting from the waist. And your arm is going to go all the way behind you. And it's going to pass that mark on the wall about maybe 20% farther. Okay. And then you're going to come forward, untwist, and you're going to drop your arm. And you're going to take a nice deep breath in and exhale it out. Good job. Once again, imagine lifting your arm up, pointing it forward. But this time as you twist, you're going to go about 30% more. So twisting all the way around, past your mark on the wall. They're about 30% farther this time. Mark it on the wall. Feeling how good that twist is and how easy it is. And then come back around and drop your hand. Nice deep breath in through the nose, exhaling. Good job. One last time, lifting your arm up, pointing it forward. No, don't lift it up. This is all in your mind,
right.
imagining it in your mind. Lifting that arm up, imagining it in your mind, twisting all the way around, keeping those eyes closed, twisting all the way around. But this time, you're going to twist like one of those crazy cartoon characters where they just keep twisting and keep twisting and keep twisting and being goofy and fun and woo, twisting and twisting and twisting, being flexible. Just keep twisting and twisting and twisting and twisting and twisting until you feel like you can't twist, and then just untwist, back around, coming and bringing your finger in front of you and dropping it. Good job. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Awesome. Now everybody open your eyes. And this time lifting your arm up in front of you. This time we're going to do it for real. Arm up in front of you and go ahead and twist as far as you can. And mark it on the wall. Good job. Now twist around and face me. Let's sit down and talk about this. So what happens?
Never ceases to blow my mind every time we do it.
So what happens?
I know how this works, so it's not going to do anything, but it still does.
What happens?
Yeah, I'd love to understand the science behind that. That is fascinating. You just go so much farther.
Yeah, where the mind goes, the body follows.
Yes.
So much power and resource within your subconscious mind that you can do almost anything you put your mind to.
Well, and think about that in relationship to pain and discomfort. You know, it's so powerful.
Yeah. Now, the other part of this is, now, when you tell your mind something, when you tell yourself something 3 times, it's only 3 times. Your subconscious takes it as a truth. So think about all the things you've been telling yourself more than 3 times.
And all the times we set and establish and do our affirmations. The power there. That's cool.
That's why it's so important to do repetition and consistency when you're trying to change a thought pattern, a behavioral pattern. But look what we just did. When you closed your mind and you imagined something, you went into a theta state. You accessed your unconscious, subconscious mind and started to work with it. Whenever I do this, I get more flexibility sometimes than a whole session of yoga. It just blows my mind. Yeah. Okay. So with that now as your truth, understanding what you can do with this amazing space within inside of you, this resource, this subconscious, unconscious mind, let's learn some techniques to apply it to, as Beth was saying, discomfort and pain. Okay. So the first one is called the color technique. And I want to make sure I say everything that I'm supposed to say. So if I look down, it's because I want to make sure I keep everything in order. Okay.
All right. We're completely preoccupied with the beauty of this slide.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It is beautiful.
I love it. Okay. So everybody I know has some type of discomfort or pain. And so you've had some discomfort. And for a moment, I want you to go ahead and focus on the area of your body where this discomfort is. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes down. And focus on that area where that pain is. Your head, your back, your shoulder, wherever that pain is, focus on it. Now, that area, if that discomfort, if that area was a color, imagine it as a color. What does that color feel like right now? What does it feel like? Notice the color. Notice the color of that discomfort, of that area. Is it bright and intense? Is it dull or throbbing? And notice its shape. Is it oozing and bleh, or is it sharp and pointed? Is it frayed? So notice the shape of it. You can also notice if it has a temperature. Is it hot and searing? Is it cool and icy? Stabbing and icy? Just get that too. And and if it has a shape, that's fine. If it doesn't, it's fine. If it has a temperature or not, that's fine. Whatever you experience right now is perfect for you, and it's your experience. Now that you have your color and all that information, what color would feel better? Imagine that color. What color would feel better? And just using your imagination to change that color to a better feeling color. And maybe you can imagine it changing now to that color, that better feeling color. And however that change happens is perfect for you, whether it's a melding, or are you like shooting it in there? Are you breathing it? Are you coaxing it? However you change it, that's perfect for you. You can invite it to change, give it permission to change. And as this color changes to that better feeling color, the sensations will change. Because the color is different. It has a different frequency, a different vibration, because color is frequency. And as the color changes, allow yourself to notice the changing sensations in that area. As the color changes to that new feeling better color. Feeling better now. You might also imagine wrapping the whole area that is now feeling better. It's a different color in a really soft material. And I don't know what kind of material you're going to think about that's soft. It could be cashmere, it could be silk, some really comforting now wrap. It could be even a nice soft cotton or velvet. But think of that comforting wrap and imagine wrapping that whole area where the discomfort was, that whole area that's now a different color and feeling different. And as you wrap the whole area in that soft cashmere or that soft velvet or silk or whatever you imagined, whatever material you imagine, have that comfort sink in as you wrap that better feeling color. You can wrap it to protect it so the comfort can sink in. And your wrap could even be that new, comforting, better feeling color. Changing the sensations, feeling better. And as you notice how the sensations change, you might begin to allow that comfort to spread even a little deeper. And you can leave it wrapped and allow that wrapping to continue to offer you comfort, to keep it protected and safe, soothing it. And when you feel better, you can open your eyes. Okay, talk to me.
The thing that blew my mind, I'm familiar with this technique, but what really surprised me is when I focused on the discomfort and switched gears with the color, that there was a completely different experience or concern, completely unrelated, hadn't thought about it at all in a good long time, that came up and wanted attention.
Mm-hmm.
And as I comforted it with your beautiful soft fabric and the colors that were there, that could resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And then the discomfort is better.
Yeah. So there's a
totally unrelated concern, or at least appeared to be unrelated. I'm sure it wasn't.
Because nothing is in isolation. It all it's all a cascading effect. So whatever comes up, you address it.
Yeah.
So these steps you can do anytime you want. Imagine the color, the shape, whatever it is, whatever information you need to get from it. Imagine what color would feel better. Inviting that color either in or however you get that to change, however it looks for you. It may be different every time you do it, but feeling better and marking the sensations that you've been feeling as the color changes, and then wrapping it in something soft to protect it. And that wrap can be the same color or a different color. But understanding that color is a frequency and a vibration. And so we're changing something even on like an energetic level when we go in there. Any other experiences?
So mine, it was funny when you said give the paint a color. I didn't want to give it any colors because I'm really affected by color. Like I love color. So I just thought that was mean to that red or that yellow to give it that color.
Which is you're giving a story to your pain. Okay.
So I guess, and I like the color gray. Like I have, my couches are gray, my curtains are gray, and my den, but I have bright green as an accent color. But anyway, so I'm thinking through this. I'm going, okay, this pain is more gray because I've gotten the pain to a level now that it's not like intense, fiery hot anymore. So I guess I could say it's like gray. It's like there, and it's just gray.
Yeah.
And then of course, when you said choose a color that would make it feel better, I immediately chose yellow. And my gauze that I wrapped it in was yellow, So I was really affected by not being able to give it one of the pretty colors that I'm
which is that in of itself is why you should address it.
Yeah.
So possibly, so this is what you could disassociate from that thought about that, and even ask, like, instead of wanting to ask the gray color, what color do you want to be? And then see what comes. Because you're adding your story of like, I don't want, you're adding the story of all of the like not wanting to give it a beautiful color, or I love color, I love gray and everything. So you can say, well, it's showing you gray for a reason. Yeah. And then you can explain it. It was like, it's not as intense and it's kind of just there. So you could ask it, okay, so you're showing me gray. What color would make you feel better? Or what color do you want to be? That kind of takes that part of you out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a possibility. That's a possibility. What did anybody have their color have a temperature?
Yes, mine was hot.
Okay. Now, whenever you have a temperature show up, what you can do is the color. Beth, what was your color that it became?
It became a beautiful cerulean blue, kind of the aquamarine of the tropics.
Beautiful. So if you're feeling a temperature with your color, the opposite color you can bring in, you could be a cooling blue.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I wanted. My, the original color was kind of a deep, muddy brick red.
Okay.
Yeah. And it felt like that when the aqua came in, it felt cooling.
Okay. So
it felt good.
Your subconscious is this vast resource. And when you start to play around in there and just let it do its thing, it just instinctively knows what to do. So like with Beth, I know, because we've done all the imagery and things like that, it knew that it wanted a cooling blue. So I mean, like if you don't kind of understand that, you can ask if there is a temperature, if it's hot, cool it down, or if it's cold, warm it up. Because some people, warm is a nice soothing. Like I would rather, if I have an ache, I want warmth. I want that nice, comfortable, warm heating pad or water. So it's like, it depends on what type of pain you're experiencing. So if you do find that it has a temperature, or you can even ask if you start to get more curious, and with the gray, Penny, does the gray have a temperature? And it may say yes or no. It may just be like, it's not necessary.
No, I feel like it didn't have a temperature because I'm at a point in the pain where it's there, but it's not intense like it was back in April.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't have a temperature. It was just, it's still lingering, like it's still there.
Yeah. So the temperature may not have been an important part to understand. Maybe you didn't need it. So you just go with what is being brought forward.
And the yellow to me is happiness and movement.
Movement, energy. Yes.
Energy. Yeah. So
you fed it some goodness. So another thing is when you start these techniques, I always take a little bit of a, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is this pain at? Am I at a 10? I'm at an 8. And then after I go back and say, okay, where is, what level am I at? Oh, I'm at a 7. So that something has changed. Or, oh gosh, I went all the way down to a 3. So you start to kind of help your brain understand the difference between the sensations. Mm-hmm. There's that. Anybody else wants to share? Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You said, ask yourself, the color of the pain, the intensity and the temperature. Were those the 3 questions you brought up?
You can ask that. Sometimes those aren't all necessary, but the color, this is the color technique. So the color is the most important. So even if you just get a color and change it to a different color, you've done some great work, change work right there. Mm-hmm. But if you want more information, you can start asking those questions like, does the intensity of the color, or is it dull? Like you had a dull gray. Some people have like a sharp yelling at you red, type thing. It's like, and sometimes the shape will give you some information. Is it oozing, or is it just a blob, or does it sharp and pointy? So you can ask sometimes the shape, just whatever you feel like you want to know about the pain, like the temperature. You can ask those questions. And sometimes it's going to be like, no, I just want the color, and let's work with it and get it done. Because it's like, let's just get on and move on. All right. So the next one. So we learn and we experience things differently in the world. A lot of people, like a color is like a very visual type of learning or visual experience. Some people experience more things and have like understanding through sound, and some people through moving the body, kinetic. So this one was a visual. I'm going to give you another one that is visual, but compares or combines sound. So this may be easy for you, or it may not be easy for you, depending on how you experience your world. So don't get frustrated with this next one. It just may not be your jam. Okay. So the next one is the sound technique. Very similar. Beth,
I love that slide. Oh my God.
Great. This is what I feel sometimes like the sound is just my pain's yelling at me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the sound technique, very similar to the color technique. So go ahead and close your eyes. Now, once again, we're going to work on pain and discomfort. So if you have one that's different than the one you just worked on, that would be great. Or if you still have some that's residual from the one worked on, go ahead and use this one again. Okay. So you've had this discomfort. So focus on the area again where this discomfort is. And if you were to imagine that area that has a sound, what sound does it feel like right now? Now, there's different types of sounds. Okay. So just focus on what is the sound. Notice the pitch, high screaming, low. Is it sharp? Is it intense? Or is it flat and pounding? or like dull, just like a low roar. Notice, does it have a rhythm? And notice, does it have a volume? Now, what sound would feel better than the sound you're experiencing? It could be a pleasant sound in nature, like a stream or a waterfall. It could even be the sound of the waves on the beach, or the wind in the trees, or the song of a bird. Or it could be a melody, one you already know that is comforting, or a new special melody your subconscious knows that is just right for you, a new song. Whatever you hear or imagine, this new, better feeling sound is perfect for you. So just grab that. Now, using your imagination to change that sound to the better feeling sound. Maybe you can go ahead and imagine that it's changing now to that sound, that better feeling sound. And as that sound changes, the sensations in that area will change, because the sound is different and it has a different frequency, a different vibration, a different rhythm. And as that sound changes, that better feeling sound, allow yourself to notice the changing sensations as that sound changes. Feeling better. And you might also want to imagine wrapping that whole area, that's now a different sound, feeling better, in a really soft, beautiful song or sound or melody. And just feeding it and letting it sing or vibrate or play. And I don't know what kind of song you think is really comforting now. What notes of your song is made of. What sounds this song is made out of. Nature sounds, or piano sounds, or music sounds. Imagine singing or playing your song of comforting now to that whole area where the discomfort was. That whole area that's now the different sound, the different song, the feeling different song, the better feeling song. And as you wrap that whole area in it, that soft, beautiful song, imagine as you wrap it and sing it and play it, the comfort just sinks in and soothes. Wrap it in your song, sing your song, play your song to protect it so that comfort can sink in. Changing the sensations, feeling better now. And as you notice the sensations change, you might begin to allow that song to comfort and spread even deeper. You can leave it wrapped. You can leave your song playing to continue to comfort you, keeping it protected and safe, soothing. And you can spend as much time here with your song, with your melody, with your sound, soothing, comforting, feeling better, changing. And when you feel better, you can open your eyes. All right, that's the sound technique. Anybody have a different experience from the color technique?
I didn't know that sunshine has a sound.
Isn't that awesome?
I didn't know that. I'm like, oh my goodness. No wonder I love it so much.
Yes. When I experienced this, of course, my sound was all nature sounds. It actually became the song of the earth. The earth was actually singing to me.
Beautiful.
So it's interesting how sound And I actually did this with an individual that is very musically inclined, and hers was this beautiful orchestrated melody that she had never heard. That her subconscious, like, this is what your pain needs, is this sound, because that's what was comforting to her, was these melodies, these notes, these music. So it's really super interesting, a different aspect of your body experience.
Diane, did your sound have 3-part harmony?
It probably did, because
somebody sing at a descant.
It probably did, because it was just beautiful, because I mean, like, the trees were singing, the birds were singing, the water was singing, the earth was singing. It was all this. It was this big orchestra. For me, that's how it came out. But I'm sure she did too.
Penny, was it a vocal sound for you?
So my pain, the sound of my pain, and I chose my shoulder this time because I have a problem with my shoulder and my hip. The pain was, I love the sound of little birds, but have you ever had one annoying bird outside your window and will not be quiet? Will not, like, stop,
I love that.
So it was a bird, really high pitched, just, and the bird is kind of quiet for a while, and then all of a sudden he'll start up again. I mean, that's exactly my shoulder pain. And then the comforting sound for me was the ocean. And I can just hear the ocean right now, in my mind. And then the music would be, there's so many pieces of music that have been written for movies that are just, I feel, are inspired. And so I thought of several of those. I mean, that kind of music, there's just a lot of them. I don't even know where to begin, but that kind of music where it's just peaceful and it's full of orchestra, that type of thing.
Beautiful.
So, but it's funny that I went to an annoying bird. It's like, that's exactly my shoulder.
I totally get you, because there's those birds that it's like, especially if I'm just in the morning coming awake and and I'm like, oh my God, shut up. That's right. So it's interesting. Your annoying bird, your shoulder is annoying pain. Yeah. So it was just super interesting. So did the intensity of your pain in your shoulder change?
Yeah, and it's pretty good right now, but I mean, I could actually feel, I don't even know if this makes sense. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I could actually feel the ocean waves. Like,
No, totally.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the
rhythm.
The rhythm, that's the word.
Yeah, the sound of it. Yeah.
No,
I really need to go to the ocean, you guys. Really
bad. We should do a girls trip. Galveston.
I know.
Yes.
That would be awesome. Have like this little retreat and do all this fun stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
All right. Anybody else want to share their experience with the sound technique?
It did work for me, by the way. I mean, you guys are kind of describing the experience and it works. So just, I won't go there, but yeah, look, I'm loving this. This is super cool.
Awesome. Just think about how far you were able to twist. This is all that part of your mind.
Well, and it's making a physical change. Your physiology shifts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your mind, which is, I think, the most powerful for me. The thought that the first time I twisted, I made it a very short distance, and then to be able to actually change the cellular structures, so that things do move with the imagery in my mind. Yeah. It's a great prover.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I totally.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir here. Totally. Yeah. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the loop. Okay. Once again, I want you to think of an area of discomfort. Okay, and where it's located in your body. Now, if you want, let's see, do we want to do this one? No, let's just keep this all physical pain. Okay, let's keep this all physical pain. But just know that any of these techniques I'm showing you can be done for emotional pain. And anxiety is an emotional pain. Depression is an emotional pain. So you can use all those as what we just did. Stress is an emotional pain. Okay. If you have an intense emotion of anger or something, you can start using that anger to get to all the other stuff, what's behind it. But today, we are just focusing on the discomforts in the body. So if you can find another place that you have a discomfort, or if you want to go back and revisit ones that we've done. I mean, I'm kind of laughing because I'm thinking by the end, we're not going to have an area we can even go do. So, but just play along. So, you know,
poke yourself in the foot with a push pin.
Yeah, exactly. Go step on a bee real quick and then we'll do it.
Okay, go work on that.
Okay, so the loop. So, yeah, okay, so go ahead. And I want you to sit where you can put both of your hands, palms up on your legs, okay? And just get really comfortable and go ahead and close your eyes, okay? Take a nice deep breath in, exhale out, and sit nice and comfortable. Take all of your attention and your awareness to your right palm. And I want you just to lean into that and feel your right palm. And I want you to now take your attention to your inside of your right elbow. Focusing on your right inside of your right elbow now. And then go back and focus on your right palm. We're going to start to create a loop or a circuit, okay? Right palm. Focus on inside right elbow. And now focus on right shoulder. Back to right palm, right elbow, right shoulder. Start to feel the connection between these three areas of your body and get kind of like a loop going. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder. Now focus on your left shoulder. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder, inside left elbow. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder, left shoulder, left elbow. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder, right elbow, left palm. Right palm, right elbow, right shoulder, left elbow, left palm, right shoulder, left palm, right palm, right shoulder, left palm. Feel that loop. Right palm, right shoulder, left palm. Keep that going. Just feel that loop and how it flows. Right palm, right shoulder, left palm. Keep feeling that. And I want you to invite wherever that area was in your body where you felt that pain to come join this loop. Right palm, right shoulder, left palm. Having that discomfort, join that loop. Right palm, right shoulder, left palm. Feeling it, did the intensity with the pain increasing, that intensity of the loop. And when you're ready, we're going to do this. Right palm, right shoulder, left left palm, gently dropping the hand to the floor of the left palm and letting all of that energy of that circuit with discomfort drain into the floor. Draining it out, letting it drain from the fingers to where it just starts to drip. And when you're done draining it out, dripping it out, the last little bits, just flick your hands, flick your fingers, and return your hand up to your leg and open your eyes. What was it? What was your experience? Anybody get any relief from that one?
Well, it was right here on the back of my neck that I was working on. So it was really fun to have it go right palm, right shoulder, right through that spot, left shoulder, left palm. And I could actually feel the cycle. And then when you had us drip, it was like, oh, okay, just sweep it all out. Sweep it all out and then shake it off because I don't want any of that left.
Yeah, then shake it off.
Shake it off.
The cycle of that, as you're imagining that, you feel the circle, like
you really do feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, what did I think of? I forgot what I was going to say. Beth reminded me of it.
So when you invited that pain into that circuit, into that cycle, you can also invite, if there's any thoughts, feelings, that's kind of like the given, like the pain, because the pain also has all the emotions and memories. But if you want to, if something does come up, you're like, oh, like there's a belief or a thought or an emotion, just invite it into the circuit, because it's coming up with your discomfort for a reason, and it's coming to your awareness for a reason. Just invite it into the circle, into the loop, and then the circuit, and then it gets flicked out, drained out with everything else.
So I've been getting these deep tissue massages, to help my shoulder and hip, and it's amazing. But so I used a different massage therapist this week because my one was sick, and I'm going to start alternating them because she does a little bit different, but the other one's got more education, so she teaches the other girl stuff too. But she does still, the new one does it, and her name's Haven, the new one I tried.
Love it.
Isn't that cute? Haven. And but my girl Holly, she does this thing where, I don't know if you've had a deep tissue massage, but they'll take their whole arm, and after they've gotten you relaxed, and stuff, they'll take their whole arm and move it across your back or your hip, and they'll drop that arm down. And I told her, I said, Holly, when you do that, and she would do it on my hip, she would do it on my leg, she would do it on my back, and different places they do that technique. And I go, you know what that feels like? It feels like you're taking all of my tension and you're like throwing it away.
Yeah.
She goes, oh my goodness. She goes, that's amazing. She goes, yay,
Yeah, and you see, that's awesome, Penny. And just continue to do that and invite your body. You're doing it naturally. You're doing some type of release work naturally.
Yeah. Awesome. And you can actually feel the tension like being thrown on the floor. You know what I mean?
Not mine,
let's just throw that on the floor.
Awesome.
Love it.
Anybody else?
Yeah, the loop is interesting because you can actually feel a circle. You can feel the circle or the energy of the loop.
That's what this is. This is an energetic release. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. How about you, Jen? You want to share?
I think she's gone.
Oh, is she gone?
Yeah,
I can't tell who's
gone.
in the Who's in there?
Yeah, no, I
right.
think it's just us.
Okay, are you ready for the last one?
Yes.
Okay, I love this one. Now, once again, remember, you can use these for any type of pain, okay? This one is really, really good for anxiety and depression, but we're going to focus on physical pain with this, okay? Do you guys have another area of physical pain that you can work on with this one? Or do we want to do an emotion with this one?
Let's do in motion.
You want to do an emotion with this one? Okay. All right. I was kind of worried about that. It's like, by the time we get to this last one, we're not going to have any like intense pain anywhere. But I mean, anyway. Okay. So this one's super fun. So just take a minute and look at the picture.
I love that picture.
I think they call it, is it called light painting or something like that, where they
Is
do
that what it is? It's beautiful.
Yeah. And so this one's called the spin. So go ahead. So since we're going to work on kind of like an emotion or a state of being, if it's anxiety, depression, or just some type of like that, go ahead and identify that. Think about it. Think about that discomfort, pain, whatever that is. Okay. Emotional state of being. And close your eyes down and find it in your body. Where is it being stored in your body? Where is it in your body? And as you find it, notice the way it's moving. Okay. Okay, so now open your eyes and back out. I want to talk about something. We'll go back in. Okay, so this is working on the fear aspect of our pain, that very base thing. Okay. So when you have a fearful experience, and your nervous system gets activated, I'm going to use like when you avoid a car, accident or collision. We all get those because we're drivers. Something wells up, right? It's like rushes up. Okay, everything, and then it just dissipates over time. Okay, a lot of that is fear, fight, flight. It kind of raises up and then dissipates. Well, what happens with a fear cycle of pain and these issues is that whatever caused us to have that fear rises up, but it doesn't dissipate. Okay, because we've connected to it. We've given it a story. We've given it a meaning. We've given it a need that we need. And so to keep it alive, that has to continue. It has to cycle back and cycle back and cycle back and cycle back. It has to spin in us. So that's why we have this
loops. Yeah.
It spins in us.
Spins, right.
Okay. Because that's how it keeps alive in us. Okay. So with that being said, go back into that space, close your eyes, go back and find that place in your body where it's storing that discomfort, pain, state of being, whatever you're working on. Okay. And now look for its spin. Look for its motion, its movement. Okay. Its rhythm, whatever it has. And notice it. Now, it may not be a perfect circle spin, but it's going to have some type of movement. And even if it has like just a little sharp poke or something like that, ask it to show itself as a spin or as more of a rhythmic thing. It could be oblong, it could be kind of up and down and all over, but it's going to have a continuous shape to it. Can you guys see that? You guys found that? Okay. Penny, did you find it? Shake your head, yes or no? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so find it. Now, keep noticing that spin. And I want you to put your hand in front of you. And I want you to mimic the spin with your hand or your finger, keeping your eyes closed. Just kind of mimic it. Okay. Okay, good job. Now, I want you to imagine taking that out of your body and spinning it in front of you. So spin that finger in front of you. So you've taken that motion out of your body. It's in front of you now, and you're spinning it with your finger. Keep moving it. You got to keep moving your hand. Okay. Good job. Now here's the fun part. Now imagine, don't even imagine it. Here's the fun part. Reverse the spin with your finger. Change the direction.
That's cool.
A little different. Okay. Make it go in the opposite direction, moving your hand in the opposite direction. When you have it spinning and your hand spinning in the opposite direction, I want you to bring it back into your body, to that space, that area, and spin it in that opposite direction in your body. This is also the cool part. Keep it spinning in your body. You're already starting to mess with your brain, okay? With the way that your mind and your body had recorded that pain. You've changed it. You're spinning it backwards. And now as you're spinning it backwards, I want you to think of the last time you had inappropriate laughter. You know, that laughter that we know we probably shouldn't be laughing at this, but we do. Those things this inappropriate laughter just comes spontaneously from your subconscious mind. Because consciously you're trying really hard not to laugh right now. You really shouldn't, laugh at that. It's inappropriate. You really should stop, but somehow it just keeps coming up. You just keep laughing. Now throw that laughter into that spin. Notice what's happening to your spin and your body in that area. You're now messing with your brain again. You're messing with the hormones and the chemicals coursing through your body. And now that you're laughing and that spin is going backwards, I want you to think of that thing that caused your discomfort and notice what's different. You can open your eyes now.
That was so cool.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So did I ruin that for you? Did I ruin that whatever was causing you pain before because now we just changed it for you? Can you think about it the same way?
It neutralized when you went backwards. It was like just neutralized it. It was so bizarre.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. The backwards spin. I was having a hard time getting the laughter. I understood the laughter, like when you just can't stop laughing at something that's terrible.
It's terrible, but it's so funny.
But it is. And the key is, it's because you take out your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is what tells you not to laugh at something inappropriate. But sometimes your subconscious mind is like, oops, And that's where all this is. That's where all this is. And so if you can access that inappropriateness, it's helping you access that part of your brain that's saying, now put that in there and change it. So it's so fun.
Yeah, the backwards spinning was interesting, like really interesting. What it changed almost. It changed almost the chemistry of it. Like
yes, it does. You're changing the pattern of it.
Well, and the field shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was a figure 8 loop. I don't know if you could see, but it was a figure 8 loop. And when I reversed it, it's even hard to say. The texture shifted. You could almost feel it begin to melt like ice cream in the warm sun.
Yeah, like it couldn't function the same way.
Right. The edge was gone for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it smooths out. So when I do this, usually mine are like, I'm just like kind of chaotic all over the place and everything. And so when I try and reverse that, it's like, I just really want to be a nice circle.
After mine reversed, it just wanted to be still. It was just like, okay, we're good. We're good. Just be still.
But so when you do this for yourself, you find the area, you find the motion, you find the spin. You find the spin in your body, whatever direction it's going, that's totally fine. You just find and you mimic it with your hand because that helps the brain in the hand. And you're doing motion, okay? Mimic it with your hand, bring it outside the body so you can see it in front of you. And that's where you change it. You change the direction outside of your body, and then you bring it back into your body, into that space, changed, okay? And then once it's changed, I caught you guys unawares and asked you to think of the last time you had an appropriate laughter. All you have to do is just laugh. Okay, just laugh. Because that releases different chemicals in your brain and changes it. So, and just keep it spinning in there backwards, the opposite way, and laugh until it no longer feels like it needs to be there. You need to be spinning anymore. Just let your body take what it needs and spin, and then be done. So that's called the spin or the backward spin.
That's fantastic. Save the best for last.
Isn't that crazy, these things? Yeah. So that is all that I have for you guys today.
That was
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you so much.
good.
Really good.
Any
You got any
questions?
questions, Penny?
Well, this is kind of for Jen. And I'll text you after we get done. I want to meet with you again, but ever since, I don't know if you guys have heard people say this, but apparently my massage therapist has heard lots of people say this, but I had COVID, like 2 years ago ish, or maybe it was I actually can't remember that it was in February. And ever since I had COVID, there's something not right. I try to explain this to Mark, and there's something not right because I'm having anxiety, and I don't have anxiety. Like I am not, you would not, I would not say, oh, I've always had anxiety since I was a little girl. I wouldn't say that about myself. Maybe I have always had it, but it has really come alive. And depression, and I don't have depression. Like,
Yeah,
when
but
I
those
was
are
younger,
big side effects from COVID. Those are
Yeah.
big side effects. We see it all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
when I was in the baby years, I had PMS, and I knew that I was going to have a couple of days, maybe 48 hours at the most, of feeling down and depressed a little bit. And I knew that it would go away. That was my expectation you were talking about of that feeling. And I knew it was chemical because it was PMS, right? And I've always been able to deal with that. Like, I knew what to do. I'm like, oh, okay. And I would teach my girls, hey, you know when this is coming up. And if you feel down, or you don't feel right, you want to throw things or whatever it is, or everybody's stupid around you, you know that those chemicals are doing that to your brain, and it goes away, and then you go on with life. Well, now I've had really bad depression and anxiety, and I mean, I fight it all the time, and I get on the top side of it. I mean, I because of what I know, spiritually, I'm able to
Get on top.
deal with it. But I want to know what in the world this is, and if COVID, does change you neurologically. I mean,
well, let's do something really quick right now with some of the stuff we just learned. Do you want to do it real quick?
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes. Get nice and comfortable. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to go inward. Okay. And we're going to look at the word COVID. Where does the word COVID show up in your body? It could be 1, 2, 3. It could be anywhere. But where does it show up in your body? And let me know. I need to hear some from you. So let me know.
On my head.
It's on your head. Okay. It's on your head. Forehead. Okay. So look at the word COVID and tell me, does it have a color? It's okay if it doesn't, but does it have a color?
This has black capital letters.
Okay, that's a color. Black is a color.
Okay.
Black capital letters. Okay. Does it have a sound? It's okay if it doesn't, but does it have a sound?
No.
No. Okay, so let's go back to it has a color. Black capital letters. Okay. How do those black capital letters feel? What does that black feel like?
It feels like a lie.
Okay, good. Feels like a lie. Okay. So take that and all that it's telling you, all that your subconscious is communicating to you about the black capital letters, the feeling of it being a lie. And what would feel better? What color would feel better?
Probably blue.
Probably blue. What word would feel better?
Truth.
Truth. Okay. So let's look at the word COVID in black capital letters. And I want you to set right by it the word truth in blue letters. And what does that look like? Okay, side by side. What can you...
It looks like a wish.
I wish. Okay, well, no. Do you remember when you twisted around? Remember all this stuff that just happened?
Yeah.
You have the ability and the resources to change that black COVID capital to the word truth in blue. How is that going to happen? What are you going to do?
Well, I've been finding out the truth. That's the problem.
Okay, well, we're just going to focus
researching.
We're just going to focus on the two words that you see.
Okay.
We're not going to focus on what you have to do or what you have done. We're just focusing in this moment right now with the word COVID in black capital letters and the word truth in blue. How are you going to change and get rid of the COVID black and have just the blue truth stand in front? Do you have a big eraser? Do you have, you can do whatever you can, whatever you want here. Just let your subconscious guide you. Change it.
I would more be willing to take a hammer to the COVID.
Go ahead and take a hammer to that word. Hammer it down.
Kind of mean, but...
And as you start to do that, feel your brain change, feel your association with the word change as the blue truth starts to supersede that, starts to overcome that, however that looks for you. Changing the feeling of the word COVID into the word truth, the feeling of it, the blue of it. As that word changes, as the black word fades, hammers away, starts to be non-existent, and as the blue word, truth, takes its place. Changing, feeling better, where the old word was, not feeling that anymore. Feeling the new word, truth. And when you have the full part of that word, truth, and none of the residual of the black word, let me know.
Okay, I do.
You do. Okay. So this word truth means something to you. And you don't have to say it out loud. I just want you to remind yourself what this stands for you. And just feed all of that into that word, into that blue. And if you have to turn up the intensity of that blue because of the truth that's coming in, do that. And start to feel what that feels like in your body, in that forehead. And when you feel like that's all that you need, I want you to put a big smile on your face. Good little laugh, and open your eyes. Now I want you to think of the word COVID. Is it the same?
No, it's kind of, no.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not the big black letters anymore.
Not the big black letters, no, not anymore. So this is just kind of a way that you could do some of the stuff that I taught you today to change the intensity of whatever you're experiencing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of deeper work we can do on what all this is, but this is just a little like what you could do for right now.
Yeah.
There's an energy there too, a not right since energy that you mentioned. And that's something you can work on with Jen as well. The not right since energy, because that's an actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can work through
That's
that.
not right.
Yeah. in many areas of our life since then.
Right. There's a lot of not right since energy there.
And that's why we focused on the word, because the word was a representation of a lot of things. Could have been the physical experiences. It could have been all the lies that we've been told. It was just
Or
also
just the panic and the fear.
yeah, all
was,
of that.
Yeah, so profound in that
So
time.
that's why we focused on the word. Yeah.
That's great. I really liked the hammer part.
Isn't it empowering when you can just smash things? Yeah.
I love it.
I'm really a nice person, but I really liked hammering that word.
You're a strong, nice person.
Yeah,
That's important.
Let me tell you, I love the subconscious, that whole arena, that whole area, because it just is such a fun place to be.
So interesting to me.
I just got a little giggle when you got the hammer. I was like, you go, girl.
Oh, Wanda. That's right.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was so good.
Take me with you. I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to make a choice. This new path needs my
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Let go. I surrender, and I know I surrender, and I know I surrender, and I